Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Realm of Ori. In this video, we will continue with Volume 15, Chapter 5, The Truth of the Emperor, Part 6. And before we start, this video contains spoilers from the Tensura Light Novel. And by the way guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications for upcoming videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Single-digit rank 3 Granite is the hero who has kept the Empire going for a long time. One of the most important people in building the Empire and keeping peace for 1,000 years. He was once called a military god by the people who lived under the Empire. He was also a great person whose name will live on in history. He is a fighter who knows how to use all kinds of weapons and fighting styles and has a strong body. Even though he is at least 2,000 years old, his black hair and short, shaved black beard make him look young. Flare Lord Benimaru stood in front of Granite. In the middle of the roundabout, the two men were facing each other. I am Granite, the guardian of the Empire. I am Benimaru. You can consider me Lord Rimuru's adjutant. The names of the two sides have been made public, so from now on there will only be war. Hey, wait a second. Not going to listen to me? I'll listen to what you say. Nothing, it's very simple. I've learned a lot about you, and I've heard that you're a pretty strong man. It would be a pleasure. Heh, that doesn't blow your mind, does it? I've already beaten several strong men, so I think I'm pretty good at it. Still, I think you're good enough, and a normal demon lord would have no chance against you. What exactly do you want to say? At this point, Benimaru's heart was starting to get restless. He didn't mind negotiating, but now that the fighting was getting worse, it wasn't a good time to talk freely. If Granite's face showed that the other side wanted to give up, that was a different story. Instead, it's the same as trying to stop the Benimaru on purpose. I didn't expect you to be so strong. The Intelligence Bureau's lack of care led to a crisis in the Empire, and Kondo wasn't much help either. It will be more than a showdown if there are more losses than expected. So I decided to stop here and take an oath to be one of my men? If you give up, I swear that you and your men will be taken care of by me. The idea of proposing an armistice is too good to be true, and a third party thinks it will only make people think that way. They planned to absorb Benimaru and the others because they had lost a lot of battle power and needed to get it back. Benimaru had looked into this point on his own, which made his heart even more angry. Is this person going to play games with us? But to the extent that he seems to have a strong reason to believe in himself. If not my troops, what will happen to Lord Rimuru? It's too bad, but that demon lord is too risky. To prove your loyalty, you must work together to crush him. No, we can't talk. We cannot betray Lord Rimuru. Benimaru was trying to buy time by having him keep listening to the other person. In fact, he had just heard the voice of someone he didn't know. Benimaru got a proposal from that nice voice that seemed to come out of nowhere. Oh Benimaru, can I help you get the power you've been waiting for? Normal people would never agree to such a strange request, but Benimaru did. Benimaru's race had become a spiritual being called a divine flame spirit, but that wasn't enough for him. Benimaru wanted to use Rimuru's ability to talk about the past experience he had given him and then get it on his own. This goal has been reached halfway. After seeing Rimuru fight Velgrand in the other companions' figures fight, Benimaru also had a realization. He combines his unique skill, Generalissimo, with his firepower, which he is good at. With the skills learned during the exercise, the racial traits of the divine flame spirit, and the Generalissimo, the peak of the ultimate is only one step away. At this time, the strange voice was heard. Benimaru wanted to see how the promise would change them. Benimaru pulled out his Taishan and turned to face Granite. He looked like he was done listening. Hey, being in a hurry isn't good. Follow the strong and leave the weak. Isn't that the way of the monsters? Isn't it common for monsters to choose their masters? When Benimaru heard what Granite said, his brain felt like it was on fire with anger. As a general, he knows how to keep his cool. I shouldn't be laughing at Shion like this. Even though Benimaru was always making fun of himself, he had no plans to hold back his anger. Draw your sword. I don't have anything else to tell you. Oops. I don't understand. That's mercy. What's my biggest give-in? Because I respect your position, I've promised not to make it hard for you to become my men. He said things like that because he thought he was so much better than Benimaru. You're just trying to find reasons to fail by pushing and pulling, aren't you? Ha. What a joke. I like your aura, but you might want to learn more about yourself. Most likely, my men were happy that all three of them lost. I can't see your majesty right now, but if you nod, our strength will go up, not down, if you do. It's good for me that you didn't die for nothing. Isn't that a great way to get to know someone? After hearing that, you should get it. I don't want to treat you like abandoned sons. Granite probably said it because he saw how restless Benimaru was. Even worse was knowing that he definitely meant what he said. Granite has the confidence of a hero, making it clear that he doesn't need to play a trick like that. Since you're also a good general, give it some thought. You believe that you can save your men, right? And, well, the hard truth is that Kondo and Damrata are both very strong. Damrata and I were friends a long time ago, so I know a lot about him. I'm the better man, but he's a strong man who won't give up even when faced with something primordial. Also, there's Kondo, who looks like a newbie but can play just as well as us. He was only put under the control of His Majesty because it was too dangerous, but even the primordial is no match for him. In other words, if you want to fight Majesty Rudra, you have to beat the 4 absolute strongmen, which includes Lord Velgrand and me. You also know that it can't happen, right? Benimaru thought, this guy talks a lot more than I expected. A little bit of anger went away, and the plan was to find out as much as possible. It's too bad that you've been so outspoken and decided on your own that we're the losers. Even if we were to follow you, it wouldn't be nice to have our hearts controlled, would it? Haha, are you interested now? I've heard that the Great Ogre clan is a good group of mercenaries, and I thought you'd decide whether or not to join us based on the terms. After that, feel free. His Majesty does have power over the people, as you feared, but there's no point in worrying about that. Oh, that's not, okay? Even though it's common, it's hard to do. Think of it as an honor to be ruled over, but people who aren't good enough will be ignored. Also, even though Kondo was being controlled, he didn't know it. I'm the only one who knows the truth, and I can't help but feel sorry for him. I know, I can't discuss it. Is this true? I'm right when I tell you not to worry. You might not believe much of what I say, but I can guarantee that you and your friend will never be ruled over. Why? You're not strong enough. What a joke. Benimaru's anger flared up again. Granite's tone was so normal that it was impossible to tell if it was a joke or not. He didn't mean to insult them, he just thought Benimaru and the others were weak. Since he evolved, Benimaru was proud of how strong he was, but he never expected to be underestimated this much. Okay, pay attention. You are one of the strong opponents, but when you work together, you don't get to the point where you can be dominated. It looked like not only Kondo but also Yuki the Brat were being ruled by His Majesty. Now, even Lord Veldora was being ruled by His Majesty. I think no one should be able to tell you what to do anymore, and as long as you take an oath of loyalty, you will be free to do what you want. You can't beat me even if you all work together. That's a lot of confidence, but I also have faith in my own strength. I'm tired of hearing you talk nonsense, so let's figure out who's right and who's wrong. Benimaru took the sword off his shoulder and changed his position. He thought he might be able to find out something useful, but then he realized that talking about it anymore would only make things worse, so he gave up the idea of continuing to pry. Monsters can't be changed. Even though I've tried to help you, it's sad that you still can't see the truth. I have no choice but to give up on you and then deal with the person who fought Manaza. Quit it. Shion is stronger-willed than I am. A joke. I shouldn't have told you about Manaza. Do you know her? On the battlefield, doesn't it make sense to gather information? We have to do it. Lord Rimuru taught us this. Well, interesting. Killing a man like you is a shame. Granite finally got his sword out, and even though he could use other weapons, he still had the sword in his hands. As soon as Granite raised his sword, he showed a sudden change in his calm and gentle demeanor. Instead, he gave off a strong aura, like a spirit coming back to life. There is a saying about the otherworldly world: the swallow knows the swan's will. It means that the small person can't figure out what the big person is thinking. Do what I say while I try to talk sense into you. Do you want to make a case now? I almost don't want to hear about it anymore. Huh, then you should go to hell. Shock and awe. The breaking army. Granite's first blow was the most powerful must kill, and he was sure that it would kill Benimaru. Strange things happen. The broken army, kinetic shock had enough power to break Benimaru into pieces, but Benimaru's sword stopped it. No way, no way, no way. Why have you learned an ultimate skill? Granite would have no choice but to scream. It came close. I didn't think this guy would be so good at hiding his strength, and I wasn't careless, but if he hadn't been, I might have lost. So now it's my turn. Benimaru's new power was the perfect way for him to use his imagination, so he showed it off calmly and without hesitation. The ultimate skill, Blazing Sun Lord Amaterasu, is a scary power from Seal that can analyze Velgrand's power and show it to the world. The sign of Benimaru's power, Amaterasu, was a black glow around his Taishan. After a moment of shock, He got himself together and started looking for Benimaru's weak spot. Most likely because he learned the ultimate skill, Benimaru's amount of mana went down a lot, and even then, it was still too high for a normal demon lord to match, making it only a third of Granite's mana. Even if the opponent has unknown powers, a full strength shot can still win. Granite cried out, "Don't underestimate me, you little monster. The next blow won't be polite, I'm going to try my hardest to beat you." Granite throws everything he has at Benimaru to take him down for good. Shock and awe. Die, Army of the Damned. Even though it was the same move as before, it had a lot more power. At this time, a loud noise could be heard. Not in this place, but somewhere else where things are happening. This guy, Carrera, is really pushing. In Benimaru's mind, what Carrera had done was played out in great detail. Benimaru was able to master Carrera's moves as a result of this. "Let's show you my collection, even though I just saw it." Granite did not answer. Benimaru's counter moves had already turned him into dust that was on fire. Still, Benimaru is the scariest thing. They call it prominence acceleration. "So it looks like I can't hear you either." Benimaru stopped talking and looked relieved as he turned around. Granite was killed because he talked too much. Benimaru didn't want to make the same mistake again, so he carved the thought into his heart.